how to make six figures. Let's get into it. Benny, welcome to my channel. It's really nice to have you here. Can you introduce yourself to the people?
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me here, Kuba. My name is Benny D. I started out as a musician, got about 500,000 streams on Spotify, got incorporated with some high profile entrepreneurs, and learned how to create my own six-figure agency. And over the last 365 days, we have generated over $1 million in revenue for ourselves as well as our clients.
Yes, awesome. So me and Benny are actually part of the same team with Contentpreneurs, and we've been crushing it. I'm a coach on the team. Benny is the head of operations, and he's got some cool roles there. You could talk more about that in the interview for sure. So first, can you tell the people about your background a bit as a musician, as a rapper? I used to be into rap myself, and I thought I would be a rapper. So it's inspiring to see you from that world and now in the entrepreneur world, you know. So can you talk about that transition from rapper to entrepreneur? Like why did you switch routes and like a little bit of that
Yeah,
history?
dude, absolutely. Well, I'll be real with y'all. The only reason I got into rapping, one, because it was in my blood. My dad was always a singer, so music was always in my blood. But I didn't know that entrepreneurial ventures were a thing. The only thing that I knew that you could do was make music, play basketball, or sell drugs. Those were the cool people when I was growing up. And I'll be honest, I wasn't very good at selling drugs. I was pretty good at basketball, but I stopped growing when I was 5'9" and a half, and I could rap. I could
Mm.
freaking rap. So by 18, I got linked up with one of my OGs in the studio, and we just started making music. And it was so simple and so easy. And so we were just making music. We go do shows. I think one of the best shows we did, we sold out an event with Lloyd Banks, one of my favorite rappers from G Unit. So that was awesome. We were just crushing it. And then
What, did you open for him or what?
I opened for him. Yeah.
That's
So
wicked.
yeah, it was
Okay.
dope. It was dope. So we did a bunch of shows. We were crushing it. We learned how to do ASCAP, BMI. We understood the whole entrepreneurial ventures on Spotify and on the music game, but there's no money there. What we found out was all of these rappers at the very top didn't even have money either. They were off of loans from the music industry, and we wanted real money. And so I started looking around with my team, and I said, listen, I got to find out where the real money is so that I can not only support myself, but support the people around me because I'm sort of the leader in my group. In fact, I am. So that's when I went on this long journey of going through drop shipping, going through forex, going through crypto, and then I found all of these different people that I chatted with, and eventually I started investing into different courses, and I invested in a course that led me to Ted Carr, and we just hit it off. And then I started working with him at the beginning of this year, and literally January 1st, and then we've created over $1 million in revenue over the
Dude,
last
crazy.
freaking
We're
year.
coming up to a year. It's only been a year. I feel like I known you forever now.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
year has been incredible. It's been incredible.
This has
So
been the most dense year of my entire life. Absolutely, man.
amazing. So what happened with all the other stuff? Like I hear people crushing it in drop shipping and these other things that you mentioned. I myself, I thought drop shipping could be something cool. Like it seems there's money in there. Can you tell me like what happened there? Like why did that not work out and you chose a different route?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. I think drop shipping, there's a lot of money in there. I
Hmm.
also believe that everybody has their own innate gifts, and figuring out what business you want to get into that is perfectly paired with your innate gifts will give you a huge advantage over the rest of the competition. So for me, I'm not a tech guy. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm not even an organized guy, right? I'm pretty messy. So trying to
Right.
organize all of the drop shipping stuff and building out the websites and doing all of the behind the scenes stuff was not for me. What is
Mm.
for me is getting in front of people and chatting with them, figuring out what their ambitions are and helping them cultivate a plan that will actually be successful. So once I figured out that sales allowed me to do that, and running a business where I got to talk to people and talk to people on the team and make sure that they are getting what they needed, I found way more success than trying to force my hand with drop shipping and other things of that sort.
Oh, I love that. So it sounds like your message is for people to focus on their natural talents, their natural gifts. That will help them prosper more as an entrepreneur than trying to force something just because other people made money with it.
Right. I think skill stacking is one of the most beneficial ways to get ahead. And so, since I've been making music since I was honestly 13 years old, I've been in front of people and I've been writing, and my words are much better than the average person so that I can convey value. So, stacking the music, and I've been on stage, so I'm comfortable talking on platforms like this. So, coupling
Yeah,
that
true.
with then talking to people, it just works beautifully. It doesn't really stack with creating a website. Those two skills don't really go together.
Yeah, so true, so true. So transitioning from the rapper to the entrepreneur, now a successful entrepreneur since the past year or so, how has that shifted your mindset? Has it shifted your mindset, or is it the same?
You know what? It 100% shifted my mindset, and it confirmed some fundamental laws that I didn't completely understand when I was in the music industry. When I was in the music industry, I was not a good producer. Okay. I was not the best on instruments. I can play guitar a little bit. I was not a good engineer, but I'm really good at rapping and writing songs. I could write a song in freaking 30 minutes, no problem. Nobody else could write it as fast as me. And I could freestyle better than everybody. I used to think that I had to do everything, but instead I would delegate everything and I would get way more done. And now coming into the business scene, I came in and I went back to my old habits of I'm trying to do everything. And it was so stressful. And I didn't get as much done as when I started delegating, hiring the VA, hiring another person for the sales team, hiring a discovery caller, and understanding that delegation is so much easier. 10x is easier than 2x. So that's one of the biggest things that I like completely clicked with this year.
That makes sense. So now you're focused on what you're best at and delegating the rest and getting people from the team. Because I work with you, so I see you're good at that. You're making sure everyone's working on what they got to work on and they're crushing it in their area, and then you let go like their tasks. All right, you're doing well. That's it. All right, I'm gonna focus on my thing. So that's awesome. Do you think your music career and all that shaped any of your entrepreneurial habits now?
A million percent. A million
How
percent. I
so?
wrote a song every single day. And so now when I just come over here, I'm like, okay, let me take at least a sales call a day. Let me watch a sales call video a day. Let me do something that's going to build my skill stack every single day. So the habits are everything for sure.
How about for like challenges that come up? Like, has it prepared you for that?
Yeah, I think anybody who's in the entrepreneurial space can say that it has prepared them because you just fail a lot. You fail a lot, and that's what it's all about. So, failing, making music that doesn't go viral, making content that doesn't go viral, just not getting to where you know you want to get to, but continuing to get up and continue moving forward. I think that's the best habit and skill that you can cultivate as an entrepreneur. If you just don't stop, then you can never lose.
Yeah, I love that because I think that's a big thing to touch on failure, challenges and failure, because sometimes people will hit a failure and they think that's the end, that like they're not meant for it and they give up, they end their journey right there. So can you speak on that? Like, can you maybe highlight a specific obstacle that you've overcome in your entrepreneurial journey instead of just giving up? Like, how did you overcome it, and how did that take you to the next level? And how did that build that your resilience?
Oh, there's so many, man. There's so many. Well, one is easily I got up to 20,000 followers on Instagram and I'm like, "Oh, I'm crushing it. This is amazing." And then TikTok came out. And I'm so stubborn that I did not want to fail in public and go back to 0 followers and build up my TikTok. So instead, I refrained from doing that for 3 or 4 years, missed the opportunity to be one of the first few to be on it and really get solidified in the space, and lost a
Mm.
huge opportunity. And the learning lesson I got from that was you got to be willing to fail in public. And that's really difficult for people who have a really good skill in one area, but then when they go to another skill that they have to learn, they're a beginner at it and they suck at it, and everybody's going to look at them and go, you suck." But you're like, "Well, I'm actually really good." So being able to fail in public and not let it get to you, put your ego aside and be like, "I got to do this." That's super duper helpful.
Yeah, that's a big one. Even like going live on these kind of calls, we help a lot of contentpreneurs, people who are putting out content. A lot of people come from the beginner world and are scared to like put themselves out there. But I think like say we messed up right now, like so what? We just keep going anyway, you know? So I think you just got to do it, and then you that's how you get better and better at doing these things.
Yeah.
And how do you think the creativity from your music world influences your problem solving and innovation in the business realm? Because business, I think there's creativity that's really important in the business, but then there's also the left brain, keeping organized, getting shit done, sticking to your goals, going forward. How has creativity played a role in problem solving in your business?
They go hand in hand together, right? So somebody said something really cool. At the very beginning of your journey, you're going to be trading your time and your muscle for money. When you're at the very, very top, you're going to be trading your ideas for money. The best people, Steve Jobs, for example, he
Mm,
had an idea and he traded that for huge amounts of money. There's no limit to what you can invent and bring in large sums of money. So my creativity is there's always a way to solve the problem, and it's usually not the linear way that we think it is. There's usually a shortcut. So I just always try and think of, well, what do we need? Well, what can we do it? And then we simplify it.
yeah, that's genius. Yeah. And having that creativity allows you to have those ideas. Otherwise, you might miss them.
Yeah,
How is a way that you tap into your creativity nowadays as an entrepreneur to make sure that
content.
you have those ideas?
Yeah, content for sure. Because when you're creating content, you have to think and put yourself in the perspective of the person that you're trying to reach. So being able to creatively like construct a room where they would be sitting. Would it be a an 18-year-old guy who has to go work a 9 to 5 and he just woke up and he doesn't want to go, so he's laying at the edge of his bed and he's scrolling on Instagram, avoiding it? What video would he see right there that would
Ah,
inspire him to take action? Like having the ability to formulate a whole bubble where all of this is going on, that's definitely a big piece of creativity. A little bit of logic as well, but the creativity to visualize it.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you get to play with it as well, right? Like you get to film cool stuff, and yeah, you really get to be creative when you make content. How about your music? Do you still make it, man? I think I see once in a while on your stories you got some studio stuff going on.
Yeah, so we're in the studio once a week. We're writing music constantly, me and the rest of the team. One of our teammates is now working with Sony and some other big record labels. So we're in the music space and we're going to be releasing a lot more music in 2024. We had to get our business on point. We had to get some funds so that we could fund. I want to be able to fund my entire team to be able to go do what they want. Be like, hey, here, go do this, go do this. So this year was a year of building, delegating, automating so that this coming year we can release tons of music, we can travel, we can do a lot of network, and we can make tons of content. So we've just put in the work, laid the foundation to build some really cool stuff on top of it for 2024.
Amazing. And before I get into the next question, how about you tell the people where can they check out your music?
Oh yeah, just look up Benny D on Spotify, iTunes. I should pop right up. It'll be a nice little purple face. Or follow me on IG, Benny D Low Key. Benny D Low Key. That's my handle for everything. So just find
Benny
me.
D Loki. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wicked. So, what do you recommend? Do you have any advice for people who maybe want to make that transition from more unconventional paths like music into entrepreneurship? What's your advice for them?
Yeah, I would say start documenting it first of all, because everybody loves the story of somebody who thinks that they want to make a shift and can document, hey, I'm going to take this risk. And then it plays out, and you can go, hey, remember when I made that video where I said I was going to take this risk and I documented the entire journey? So start documenting right away. Do that video where you're like, I think I'm going to do something crazy, because that's going to go viral 2 years later when it actually works out. And then also, I would have the honest conversation, maybe ask your significant other, what are my best traits? What am I really good at? And they'll either say, you're not good at anything and you should probably break up with them, right? But if they say like, well, you're really good at talking to people, or, you're really good at understanding a problem and solving it, and then figuring out what type of business caters to that, and then jump in there. And if you need somebody to talk to, reaching out to an older person in the position that you want to be in is always the best route. Like if you want to be an inspirational speaker, go on Instagram and look up all the inspirational speakers and start figuring out what they did and just emulate them. It's already been done. Most of the time it's already been done, the base fundamentals. So get that
Yeah.
down, and then you can use your creativity to go to the next level and branch off.
Yeah, wicked. And then once people take that step and they actually put the things into practice and focus on their entrepreneurial journey, whatever that is, even if that is drop shipping or making content or whatever path they choose, what's the single best piece of advice you'd give to someone to exponentially accelerate their entrepreneurial journey?
I'm going to give an unconventional one. You got to get your heart straight. Most people are going to focus on the how, which is the very, very top of the pyramid. How do I do this? How do I do this? The how doesn't matter until you've cleared out your entire being. Because if your body is in a situation of lack and fear and all these lower vibrational energies, there's no way, Jose, that you're going to be attracting abundance because your frequency is not aligned with that. So the first thing you got to do is figure out, what trauma have I gone through? What hard conversations do I need to have with the people that maybe caused me that trauma so that I can clear out my karma, clear out my chakras so that I can be aligned with the next thing that I go to pursue. Because if you've built your whole life on a house of cards, one blow is going to throw that thing over. So figure out your heart. And once you've figured out your heart and you feel content within yourself, then you can work on your headspace. You're going to believe in yourself more. Then you can work on your hands, which is your skills of what you're actually going to be bringing to the table. And at the very top of that pyramid, you're going to be working on the how. And that's where you figure out the 1% optimizations to make sure that your business is really successful.
Okay, yeah, that is unconventional. And I'm really happy you talk about this. I think that's something overlooked and many people don't realize the importance of it. I know that's something I've been working on these past few years and it's super important. I still have more work to go. And Ted Carr talks about this. It's like someone asked him like what is it? Like how do I do something, or what do I need to do to get this result, to accomplish this? And he said, I would reframe that question and be like, what do I need to be? Like who do I need to be? Who do I need to become to attract like whatever I want to get, instead of like just knowing the skills. And he says a lot of business people's problems are not actually a business issue, but a personal issue. So it's work that we got to do on ourselves. So that's very important to like go deep and fix those issues, I guess. And I know you've been traveling with Ted and meeting other entrepreneurs. Is this something that they talk about? Or
Oh,
are
yeah.
more entrepreneurs like just like get it done? They don't even care about that kind of stuff.
Well, this is what's so funny, and that's such a good question, is that all of the people that show up to these big retreats with these big masterminds where they're doing 150, $500,000 a month, and everybody shows up in flocks and droves and goes, how? And most of the time, the guy who's hosting it, who's doing better than all of them, go, guys, the how is the least important. You got to figure out your heart. What's going on? And most people don't get that click. So if you can get that click early, then you're going to be way ahead of the rest of the people, because once you break out and after the guy tells the whole story of why you need to get your heart straight, they all break into individual groups and go, so how are you running your funnel? How are your KPIs doing? It's like, dude, the KPI is always reliant upon your heart. When you get on a call with somebody and you're like, this, how's it going, man? And you're desperate and you're stressed and your body language is terrible. It's a reflection of your heart, not a reflection of your how. You can watch all the videos you want about like sitting up straight, but until your trauma is released, then you are going to reflect your mental well-being. So just people go to the events and they just don't get it. So figuring out the heart is the most important. 100%, man.
So it sounds like that's something that entrepreneurs struggle with, but a few entrepreneurs really understand it. Like the one leading it is actually teaching people the importance of that.
So yes, because the difference between them is what we were talking about before, is like get everything on point, and then that 1% optimization is what's going to separate you from everybody. So everybody can make 30, 40, 50, $100,000 a month. It's really not that difficult. It really isn't. If you're consistent, all you got to do is make a bunch of content. Literally make a bunch of content, go viral, start talking about the skill that you have and help people do what you're doing right now. That's all you need to do. But to make
Mm-hmm.
that happy and be able to teach the people that you want to teach, you've got to get your heart in order, because people don't want to learn from a dick. People don't want to learn from somebody who's really, really rude, and they're all, we need to go, we need to go, we need to go. Come on, guys, push it. You need to be balanced. So that's the big differentiator. I would rather chat with somebody who's doing $500,000 a month and I can actually learn from them because they'll take the time to convey the knowledge, than somebody who's doing $1 million a month and just goes, you need to work harder, post more content. That doesn't help me. I need someone who's going to ask
Yeah,
the right
yeah.
questions.
Yeah, so that's a good point of the how is not so important, because people will be doing the how, the same thing. Say it's a sales call. Both people will be doing the sales call, but one has, you can feel their heart energy and they're trying to help you. They're focused on the person on the phone, while the other person just like wants your money, wants you as a client for them. Maybe their energy's off. It's like the same how, but it's a whole different approach because of their heart space. So that's super important. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Benny. That's awesome, man. So the next thing I want to ask you is about collaboration, the importance of collaboration. I know you're big on collaboration. So in your role as head of operations in Contentpreneurs, can you share the insights on building and leading a strong team?
Man, that's a really good one. Yeah.
Because
Yeah, and it comes
you can go and do this on your own, but you decided to like build a strong team and stay with the team. So yeah, tell us
I
about that.
share the same mindset as Ted, and this comes back to my why. Like my mission statement is my goal is to help people manifest their dreams to reality. My goal is an outer goal. I want to help other people. So being able to run a business where we help other people is great, but then also being able to run a business where we employ and empower everybody to be their best self is freaking awesome as well because I'm in such close proximity to people, especially young men younger than myself that now have the ability to chat with someone such as myself to get to where they want to go and get such a big head start. So the first thing that you gotta be is transparent with whoever you're gonna work with. Tell them the honest truth of the earning potential of their current position, and then tell them about the positions after that where they can get to. Give them an accurate timeline of how this is possible, and just be completely transparent. And then ask the correct questions of where do they want to go? What do you want to do? A lot of the time it's not I want to work with this business forever. It's I want to learn all of the things that I can in these positions, master it, and
Mm,
then go create my own business. Most employers don't ask that question because they don't want you to leave. But when you're a really good leader, you understand that you want to create other leaders. So asking them, what do you want to do and what do we need to do so that you can reach your full potential? And then giving them a whole bunch of food they can eat and then sending them on their own journey so that they can do the same thing. That's what a real leader does. We create more leaders. So that's what I
mm.
focus on.
Yeah, that's super abundant mentality right there. You're not trying to like hold on to them. You're trying to empower them and like, hey, if you want to grow with us, you see how amazing it is. Let's keep going. If you want to go do your own thing, great. Like you have the skills now, you know what to do. That's super awesome. I would love for you to speak more to that. So we're talking about our team now, but how about for the people out there who are starting their entrepreneurial journey or want to scale their entrepreneurial journey? Can you talk about the importance of an abundance mindset? For example, some people will make because we help people make content and make money off their content, coach clients, helping people with whatever problem they're solving.
Mm.
Some people make an ebook and they want to sell it. They don't want to let the knowledge go. They don't want to let stuff out for free. Can you talk about the importance of giving stuff out for free and just like sharing that abundance of information and that insights that you
It,
have with others?
it, it's as simple as goodness gracious. If he's telling all of this stuff for free, imagine what's going to happen when I pay to talk with him one on one. If you're giving out that free stuff all day and it's valuable, and then you say, hey, by the way, I'm taking a select few people to chat with one on one to actually implement all of this stuff. Hit me up if you want it. You're going to scrape the top of that hot pot and get the most people who are really bubbling to make a difference right now.
Yeah, that's wicked. Yeah. So share your knowledge, share your insights with the world. Then they'll know that you have that you have the skills and you have that that level of success yourself, so they could trust you. When you're sharing that for free, they know that you can help them, and then you can get on a call or whatever and get them into your paid stuff. But if you're keeping that all to yourself and you want to sell everything, give nothing for free, like how are you going to find the people? How are they going to trust you? How are they going to know that you have that knowledge to share? So
It,
yeah, it's super important.
and it's really scary, right, when you're just starting because you need money, right? You need money to survive. So a lot of the time we fall back into that. Well, if I just need to get as much money as possible and scrape it, and usually we just end up suffering way more that way. So making the calculated choice to like work that side job until you're making enough money where you can go full time on this. Anything you got to do to make sure that your fear and lack mindset is not getting in the way of you and your ideal client. You have to be in a smooth mindset to attract the smooth clients, or else if you're in a fear mindset, you're going to attract the fear clients, and that's going to suck. And then you're going to go, wow, this is terrible. I never want to do this. So just try and keep it wavy, man.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you mentioned a good point, like keep that side job while you're building your dreams or you're building your business online. Can you share your thoughts on that? Because some people think you got to just quit your job and go all in 100% right now. Like, what do you recommend people do when they're starting out?
There are so many variables there.
Yeah, it's
I
hard to just like be black and white with it, right?
it's very difficult, and I think most people know what the answer is. And I think that if you're operating in the right headspace, that you can find success. Some people will take that crazy leap and then they'll find crazy success if they. Here it is. Chronic servitude syndrome. Most people have chronic servitude syndrome where they feel really, really good when they work for somebody else. They're programmed. We are raised from probably your mom, probably your father, probably a school system to be a servant, to be a slave. So when you quit your job and you say, I'm going to work for yourself, if you have never worked for yourself before, you're going to have a whole lot of trouble keeping yourself responsible, being your own master. So, what I recommend to most people is take a couple more days off of work and make that transition slowly and start retraining your brain so that you can be a slave to your own self and that you could be a master to your own inner slave. Okay, and don't take that in a weird sense, right? There are some points where you need to bring out the hardworking mentality, and there are some times when you need to bring out that thinking creative genius mentality, so being able to leverage that. If you just quit your job and you're not used to being disciplined in your own body, you're most likely going to have a lot of hiccups.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. So you got to be smart with it. You got to transition and basically do what's right for you in that moment.
Or if you've got a bunch of funds, if you've got a year's worth of funds, you can quit that job, go on a self journey, reflect, break yourself all the way down, go to your lowest low, and then build yourself back up. Like that's what I did. When I quit my job, I never went back. So there's different ways to do it. There's no right or wrong. Just understand that it's not just going to be a okay, done with this, go on to the other thing. That's like Michael Jordan leaving basketball to go play baseball. He had to completely retrain his body to do this different sport. And what you're going to be
Hmm.
doing is a completely different sport than being an employee.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So either you're transitioning, lower the hours in your job and like get ready to make that leap, but build those skills while you're still having that stable income. Or if you've put money aside, you saved it, and you know you can let it go and comfortably live, and you can really do that work on yourself, start from scratch, and then build your business from there. Those are really good pieces of advice, man. One more little question I want to ask before we uh, get more about you. I want to know your plans and then how people can find you and learn from you. But first, I wanted to go back to the team. How has having the team contributed to your overall success compared to doing this on your own?
Well, I really enjoy it when other people rely on me because it makes me 100% more dedicated to finding not only myself success, but them success. If I know that if I close $100,000 worth of sales, that equates to everybody eating, then I am way more motivated than if it's just me. I love helping other people. And I also love helping people reach their max potential. So I want to be the example. When I see my people come in and they see what I'm doing and I have the highest close rate and I'm making the most money and I am making the best content and I am connecting with people the most, then they can go, oh, this is the threshold. This is the quota that I want to get to. So they have something to reach up towards. So I'm not only competing with myself to see how high I can go, I'm competing with them. I'm like, look at this. This is what peak performance looks like. Try and catch me. And when you're getting chased by someone, you're gonna run way faster when nothing's chasing you. At least in my perspective.
That makes me think of one thing actually that just came up. You're talking about competition right now, but earlier we were talking about collaboration. Like a team is a collaborative force, but you're talking about competition within the team as well.
Oh
How do
yeah.
you differentiate that?
Collaboration is competition and competition should be collaboration. Okay, when you're playing basketball, that's a mind blow, right? When you're playing basketball, you want to have the most points on your team, right? You want to be the best player on your team, but you also want to play your role to the T. You want to be the best person on your team in your specific role. So playing that to the maximum is the coolest thing in the entire world. So when you inspire other people to compete with you, then you're getting the best results. And when you're constantly collaborating of like,
Hmm.
okay, I got a lead who would actually be better chatting with you because you have a past of drop shipping and I know that they're doing drop shipping. Here, take this. So now you're competitive, but you're also like, hey, this will be the best fit for you. in your role. So competitive collaboration, top tier.
You just cleared it up. That makes so much sense in my mind now, because the basketball team analogy is like you're trying to be your best and you're competing with your teammates so that they could be their best. And what that does is help you be the best as a team.
Right.
So you're like
Because most,
competing. So it's a part of collaboration to be the best.
yeah.
So now when you're facing your competition out there, you're the best team, because within the team you're competing to make yourself better. Make
Whoa,
yourselves better.
you just made that metaphor and analogy so much better. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, wicked. Yeah, dude. So tell me, first, before I ask you the last question, can you tell the people what, how can you help them? How, if they want to
Absolutely.
start their business right now, or they want to scale their business, what can they do right now with Benny D?
Well, what I would do is run you through the pyramid, right? So I'm gonna have the honest and open conversation with you about where your heart is at, what you've been through in the past that has led up to who you are right now. Figure out what we can do to get a solid baseline of healthy mental well-being. So then once we conquer that, we can get into your headspace, figure out what kind of conversations are you having with yourself. What are you telling yourself every morning? What are you telling yourself every night? Do you get in bed feeling accomplished? Once we go through that and come up with a solid plan for that, then we can get into what type of skills do you have, and what do you want to bring and offer to the world. And we're going to work on that and come up with a solid plan of action for getting that situation. And then once we've got all of that, this beautiful foundation, we can talk about the how and the optimizing so that you can get there as fast as possible, as well as enjoying the journey. That's what I would run you through.
Okay, awesome. And how can people get to that? Like, what should I share with them?
Yeah, just hit me up. You can hit me up on Instagram. That's where I'm on most of the time. Just Benny D low key. Shoot me a message and I'll chat with you. And we'll figure out where you're at, whether or not it'd be helpful to jump on a call and go from there.
Okay, awesome. So I will put that in the description below. Hit up Benny, connect with him. Just have a talk and see what works best, what makes sense for your journey, where you're at, and see how we can help. All right, Benny. So can you tell me, what are your future plans? We've talked about an amazing year that just happened. We talked about your past, and like, what's the future vision going forward now
Oh, there's so much.
for
There's so
you,
much.
for the team, and for the people out there?
Yeah. So for the team, simple enough. We're doing about $100,000 a month right now. By the end of 2024, I want to be doing 500,000 to $1 million a month. To do that, we're going to be working with a lot of beginners, probably about 50 beginners a month. We're also going to be working with a lot of VIP clients who are doing $10,000 to $50,000 a month, and maybe 5 to 10, 50,000 to $100,000 a month clients that we're going to have on retainer that we're going to consistently help them scale. So that is awesome. I'm very excited for that. And to do that, we're going to create tons more content. So 2024 is going to be full of content.
Yeah.
It's also going to be full of music and creativity, and a lot of health too. So we're going to be doing a lot of fitness stuff. And just a culmination of all of that is really all we need, brother. How about you? What are you going to be
Yeah.
digging into?
Well, thanks for asking. So I was going to mention, like, that's part of my vision as well, is really put more focus on the health, because I come from a health background. And then building up as an entrepreneur, I've neglected my health. So I'm going to go back into the health to take care of myself so that I can have a better energy and, give a better energy to the team and to the business and to the clients and to everyone. And part of that also, taking care of myself, is allowing more creativity time. So I would love to, on the weekends, have a day or an evening at least dedicated to just like hip hop myself, like freestyling, playing around with music, just for fun, because it brings out the creativity in me. I know that as well. So that's my plans going forward, and then just putting out more content, sharing more of my journey, so that
I'm excited to see
I
it.
can help clients better as well with their content, with everything. So yeah, just sharing more of my journey. I know, Benny, you recommend, and this is a good message for people out there, being more authentic. So just being more authentic, even when your content, sharing your content, sharing your authenticity, sharing your story, just being real, instead of always trying to like sell facts and or just share facts and all this stuff. Just like share your story, share what you're about, what you're up to in the day, like these kind of things. Being more authentic with your journey. So I really plan to do that more going into 2024. And yeah, I look forward to it, man. We're gonna crush it. We're gonna build our platforms in all social media, so that's gonna be awesome. So is that all you want to share about your future vision, or how about for what's the vision for the people watching?
Hmm. Yeah, that's about it, man. I mean, currently I'm CEO of this company, Contentpreneurs, and this is my own business as well. CEO, I work with high ticket clients and help them completely scale their sales team. So it's a possibility that I could take on another client. I'm very selective in who I work with though. So I mean, I'm very happy with where I am. I think one of the best pieces of advice I could give to people is keep it freaking simple, right? I could try and do a bunch of different things, or I could split up the year into 4 quarters and figure out what I'm going to do in each quarter. So, first quarter is going to be all content, scaling the content. Second quarter is going to be optimizing and cleaning up the content. Third quarter is going to be optimizing all of the new clients and the flow that we put the clients through. And then fourth quarter is going to be reflections and planning for the next year. It's really that simple for me.
I love it. I love the simplicity of what we do. I love how Ted Carr is so simple. You're so simple. I think simplicity is really key. So anyone watching out there, don't complicate things. Just put the action out. Just do what your heart is telling you to do. You'll figure it out on the way. You'll make mistakes. You'll learn from it. You'll get better and better, and you'll keep growing. So Benny, this has been awesome talking to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy man. We're both busy people. And everyone out there watching, thank you so much. Hit up Benny in the description. You'll see his Instagram and have a chat and see how Benny can help you with your journey. All right. Much
Yo,
love,
brother.
brother.
Much love, man. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Peace.